Taylah!
Hi!
Anything you say will be used against you.
Great!
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure.
Who are you?
Who am I? Wow, that's a big question. Well, as you said, I'm Taylah. I'm 21 years of age from Sydney, Australia. So I was born and raised there my entire life. I'm currently studying a degree in social science with a concentration on comparative law, and then I double minor in philosophy and Mandarin.
Because why not? She speaks Chinese like proper. Like she said some things to me, I had no clue what it meant.
So I've spent the last 2 years in Shanghai studying. I spent the last 6 months in New York studying. And I'm currently spending the next 6 months in London before going back to Shanghai for a year to graduate with my undergraduate's degree and then pursuing my graduate law studies either in the US or the UK.
Yeah. So your dream is to become a lawyer?
Yes.
And to work with clients who have been sentenced to death?
Correct. So working with criminal defense and advocating for death row clients in court. Yes.
Wow, that's a serious job you're going for.
It's not exactly what everybody introduces
well
themselves as. Look, honestly, the majority of the work I would do would be pro bono because the money or the monetary element has never been a driving factor for me. It's always been about passion, representing the best interests of a client.
I was curious about like how did you decide to go for a criminal law career?
Yes.
And especially to help people who have been sentenced to death.
It's very niche.
Niche is good nowadays, you know?
Very true.
I wanted to be Indiana Jones, by the way.
That's admirable. I was 8, yes, and it came about in a really uncanny way. So my family and I were sitting around, we were watching television, and it was a program on those who had committed a crime but then they were sentenced to death and executed, but later they were exonerated. So essentially that means that they were innocent and they were killed for a crime that they actually didn't commit. And when you think about it, that is the biggest deprivation of liberty that one can have, is when you take somebody's life away, especially the way that they do it through capital punishment. So I thought something just didn't sit right with me. It stuck with me, and it stuck with me in the best possible way, because then it made me research. I mean, coming from Australia, we don't have the death penalty anymore. The maximum you can achieve is life imprisonment.
Where are the countries where there is still death penalty?
So the US is your main one, and there's still a number of states that have the death penalty.
Absolutely.
Which, I mean, is a whole debate in itself, which I'm really passionate about. So if anyone else is passionate about that too, feel free to reach out.
I understand why possibly, the minor in philosophy, because you need to really think about this. Life is the only thing that you can decide to take away from yourself.
Exactly.
I think it's important to contemplate the fact that you can take your own life. You can if you wanted to, and is that what you want? And yeah, it's just like, it's the only thing you have. Like,
it is.
After you get maybe robbed of all your freedom and rights or whatever, and dignity and material things, possessions and stuff, your life is your only possession.
Exactly, and it's a topic that's so taboo in a lot of cultures, but it's so important because it's the only thing that is really certain for all of us is death.
Yes.
It is something that is there, we face it, we move closer to it each and every day, and it's just a matter of how somebody's going to die.
And it can happen anytime as well.
It can. You can walk out on the street and be hit by a car. You could die in your sleep. Somebody else could take your life. I mean, you could take your own life.
Absolutely.
It's very real. We need to start talking about this. We need to start giving people purposes and the assistance that they need in order to see the value of their lives and how they can actually really make a difference in this world.
I'm reading this book called Spiritual Warfare, and you should read it by Jed McKenna. It's very spiritual, and some people may actually not really enjoy it because it's a bit woohoo. But he talks about death awareness and know that death can happen at any time, and that you could, if you wanted to, take your own life.
Yes.
I mean, please don't do that.
Definitely don't do that.
Don't do that.
Please
Call
don't
the
do that.
Samaritans.
Please don't do that.
Yeah. But death awareness can actually bring so much joy and life to your own experience.
It's liberating in a way.
You reminded me of that because you're dealing with a very extremely
it's hard.
touchy, hard, sensitive topic, and
Indeed.
yet you're actually very, very joyful and fun and
try to be
excited about stuff. So
yes.
Maybe it's your closeness to death.
I think so, because it's never been something that I've feared.
So you found your purpose thanks to a TV show.
Correct. Yes. So it didn't sit right with me, and I thought, no, I can't change the channel and watch something knowing that right now I'm sitting in a home while there is somebody who may not have committed a crime sitting on death row waiting to be marched into a room to receive the electric chair or a lethal injection. And that I thought, no, we need to delve deeper into what are the social constructs that are making this happen, whether it's low socioeconomic background, it's educational attainment, whatever it might be. We need to try and fix this to give people the fair trial that they're entitled to. And if that means going back and revisiting DNA evidence, or we've got evidence that's got witness deception or something like that, these people deserve that opportunity to plead for their innocence.
Do you think that if you are guilty of some sort of horrible massacre, you deserve to die? What's your I'm interested to know your philosophy.
No, if you do a crime, you're entitled to a punishment. Like, you need a punishment. Do I think that the death penalty is the right punishment? No. People say it's quick and it's painless, but it's not. It can be long and it can actually be painful for people. But I think a life imprisonment is seemingly a more fitting punishment, because you have to live the rest of your life confronting what you've done. And you get the arguments, oh, but that burdens the taxpayer system and this and that and this and that. But I'd rather know that that person is sitting there thinking about what they've done than be able to kind of get that injection or receive that electric chair, and that's the end of it.
It's a similar chat to, similar comparatively to people who are in coma.
Exactly
at the
right.
hospital.
Yes.
And they will never have a normal life again.
Correct.
And yet they're being kept alive. They don't deserve any punishment.
Absolutely
obviously
not.
Being
Exactly.
reduced to a vegetable.
Yes.
Basically, is that fair?
Yes.
And what is worse than that? Is living like that worse, or is it dying that's worse? This is a philosophical debate.
It
man.
It is.
So you're a very good salesperson.
Oh. How did you know previous jobs have been in sales?
You're a very good salesperson, no, because you've had to build arguments. You've had, and not just for like, look at this bag, it's so beautiful. This cactus here will make your life
Cactus
so
is stunning, I must
happy,
say.
so joyful. Like you actually have to sell almost philosophical ideas.
You do, but it's also coming, and I think the difference between salespeople is that you can see through them when they're not passionate or when they don't actually believe in what they're selling.
You have to believe in
That's
your
the thing.
arguments.
You have to be able to construct an argument.
To believe in the product.
You do. You do. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't have that belief, what you say is just empty.
Yeah.
You can see it in somebody's eyes if they don't have that passion or that excitement, and they just sit there and you just look at them and they're just going through the motions, and it's mundane and it's banal, and you think, no, but you need that passion, you need that light in your eyes to be able to sort of go forth and do something.
So how do you know that this is your purpose? Because you're living your purpose.
I am indeed. Yeah, people kind of find it hard to believe when you say that you're 8 years old and you know exactly what you're going to do with your life, but I'm 21 and I'm still doing it. So something obviously clicked.
That's awesome.
And I think I did get exposed to different areas, like for example, politics and things like that. And I thought it just doesn't give me the same light and the same spark that I get when I read a legal case, or somebody mentions law, or some sort of a problem or an argument, or it really gets me going. And I have this kind of a weird thing that I started. Every morning before I get up, I always ask myself, are you happy? And it's a simple question, people think, but it's not, because we get so used to putting on this facade of, yeah, I'm happy because the world needs me to be happy, or I need to be happy because I need to be a person of strength for somebody else. But I don't leave my bed until I give myself an answer. And if the answer is no, I don't leave that bed until I work out what it is. So I go back through and I think, okay, like, what is it? If it means eliminating an extracurricular activity, then I do it. But I always need to make sure that I'm happy and I'm really loving what I'm doing.
It's easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely.
What obstacles or challenges did you face?
This is a can of worms because there was honestly so many. The first one that we can talk about is the financing of something like this.
Yeah, man.
My parents actually sold their house in order to finance this for me.
Wow.
Yes. So when I say I love my family and that they are the most important thing in my life, like I mean it. I have a younger sister who's 19. She's at university as well. She's my biggest inspiration in life. It meant that she wasn't able to study abroad because there wasn't enough money for both of us to do it.
Okay.
So making that decision for them to sell their house for me to be able to live my dreams, it meant that they have to work a double job. My dad works 7 days a week, working 12 to 14 hours like shifts at a time. That's a lot to kind of deal with. And the entire way through it, my parents have always been the most supportive people that I've had, like my entire family. And I went through K to 11, so kindergarten to year 11, with no friends. People would always bully me. They would pull me down for the way that I spoke or the ideas that I had. And I mean, that's obviously something that's really hard to deal with. And I think from a young age, I was really taught, okay, Taylah, this is who you are.
A nerd.
A nerd.
You were bullied for being a nerd.
Indeed I was. And you learn resilience and you learn a thick skin and you don't run away from these problems. You need to learn and use that. In those sorts of situations, people crumble and they run away from it and they hide and they become introverted and they think, okay, well, you know, the world's against me, I'm not going to do anything. But
or they don't go for the dreams.
That's the thing.
They become somebody else.
That's the thing.
Others want them to be.
Exactly. And my parents told me, that's not going to be you. You're the person that's not going to listen to them. I was told very directly, this is your life. You're going to deal with bullying. People aren't going to like you. You're not going to please everybody. I wasn't put on this earth to please people.
I like you.
I love you. I was put on this earth for a purpose.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to put myself down because other people don't like what I'm saying or what I'm doing. When I was back in Australia, I did a couple of national TV appearances. So I worked with The Current Affair, for any Australians that are watching, or Q&A, which is another Australian program where you talk about political views and things like that.
Cool.
And I remember making the very dumb mistake of reading some of the comments that were posted when those videos were put on. And we know that in an age of social media, it's very negatively impeding people's mental health. Couple that with moving to China, where I'm faced with a very different set of beauty standards or like what people are perceived to be. So I was overweight, wasn't leading a very healthy lifestyle. And unfortunately, it was kind of triggered by those sorts of comments. People couldn't attack the ideas I was putting forward.
Trolling.
So exactly, they were trolling. They were like, okay, well, she's fat, you know, she's ugly, she's this, she's that. And at the time, I didn't think about it because I thought, don't worry about it. I have the intellectual ability to kind of overcome this. But when you're in another country and people tell you that you won't get hired because you're fat, like that's wrong. But unfortunately, it did get to me, and it meant that I developed a lot of unhealthy habits where I was over-exercising, I wasn't eating enough, I was making excuses not to go out and join friends for meals, and it turned into body dysmorphia that, I mean, I'm obviously going to have, where I look in the mirror and I just don't like what I see. And it's so hard when people tell you, no, like, you're beautiful, and it's like, I can't take that, like I deny it straight away. I won't enter into any conversation about that. Why should I be ashamed of the way that I look? Like, why should my appearance influence how I'm able to represent a client in court? I can be fat, thin, I can be this, that. It doesn't matter what shape or size you are.
Living your purpose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Follow the purpose. And that has honestly been what has gotten me through all of this.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And it's not just a saying, it's actually true.
I mean, you're living proof of that. And I think that's what people forget, is that everyone has a backstory.
Yeah.
People like to romanticize things and be like, oh, you know, they've had such a great life, when you don't realize the challenges that people go through.
There's this thing about, like, life is going to be difficult anyways.
Exactly.
So whether you follow your purpose or not, shit's going to hit the fan.
Exactly.
At some point.
Exactly.
And so then why not just go for your dreams? I promise you that's easier than not go for your dreams and dealing with the shit in the fan. When you have a purpose and shit hits the fan, you have something to pull you out of it, you know, to pull you out of your misery and the challenges. You have something to really motivate you.
what do I actually love? That question isn't a simple question, and it may take you when you were 8 to figure it out. It could take you when you're 58 to figure it out.
Be honest about it.
Exactly.
Because sometimes people know what they love, but they feel embarrassed about it. What would you tell your younger self?
I mean, if I could go back, I always wanted to live my life with no regrets. That's what I've always kind of had in my mind, is that you only get really one shot at this. I mean, depending on your beliefs, you know, you really only get one shot at this, and you have to make the most of it. Would I actually change what I've done and what I've gone through? No. I think working on strategies or ways to eliminate that voice that's telling you, no, you can't do it, and blocking people out and really concentrating on what it is that you want to do, that's what's going to get you through it. And whatever you want in life, go for it. That shouldn't have to be a question that we have to contemplate. Go with what you love. I mean, people will tell you that it's a boys' club, that it's hard, it's challenging. I mean, yeah, it is hard and challenging, but I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, you want that because you want something that's going to drive you. Never lose sight of your dreams. Yeah.
Cool. My last question. What is a cool girl? And what does it take to be one?
It's someone who is not afraid to go for what they achieve in. It's someone who's not afraid to break the status quo or break the rules, you know, within reason. Please don't make me have to see you in court. Someone who's not afraid to speak their mind, not afraid to go for it, not afraid to take that risk, not afraid to not be okay, or to admit that they're not perfect or that they can't do something. Someone who not only focuses on themselves in life, but you help others. It's great if you're at the top of the ladder, but let's bring everybody else with us. That is what a cool girl is to me. Yep.
Taylah for president.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. You're amazing yourself.
Super inspiring.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. Can anybody find you anywhere if they need to talk to you?
Absolutely. I have an open door policy. Facebook, it's Taylah Bland. Instagram, it's Taylah_Bland, or you can find me on LinkedIn at Taylah Bland as well. But feel free to reach out to me with anything, comments, questions, concerns, advice. I'm here for you, because again, if you want to be a cool girl, it takes that collective empowerment. So here we are. Let's do it together.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This was great, and I hope it inspired you.
Thank you so much.
It inspired me. Like,
you inspire me.
I'm just like, yeah, let's do it.
Do it. That's what we need. So come on, let's all do it together.
Cool. All right. On this note, it's a wrap.